What up, world? I'm Steve, founder and CEO of CryptoCrewUniversity.com. Today is April 1st of 2020, and I believe we could potentially be on the brink of something catastrophic. As we speak, businesses are closed all around the world. Schools closed all around the world. Some industries are on the brink of collapse. Companies on the brink of bankruptcy. There is a viral virus, the coronavirus, that has taken the world by storm, drawing in headlines all around the world. But there's something brewing, something major brewing beneath the surface that's getting no coverage, that is massive. As we speak, you probably on lockdown. The whole world on lockdown. Streets are barren. We're in uncharted territories. But today's video is about that major thing brewing. As we speak, a lot of the talk is about a recession. Are we in a recession now, or are we about to enter a recession? But that's not the right question we should be asking. We should be asking a much bigger question. Are we on the brink of a global depression? That's the question we should be asking. And to put it in perspective, so far in the history of mankind, we've had about 34 recessions. We've only had one global depression. There's a lot of things brewing. There's a lot of things being swept under the rug, and a lot of things not getting headline news because coronavirus is taking all the headline news. But we're going to discuss some things that are happening right now that could lead us directly in to our second ever global depression. There's only been one other, and that was in the year 1929, when more than likely you aren't even alive. So again, welcome in. If you guys are new here, this is where we take a really no BS approach. We look at the facts and the charts, and we really present only the data and evidence there in the charts and not my emotional opinion. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now. Everybody hit that thumbs up button. I still hope you have a smile on your face during these difficult times. I hope you're being safe with you and your family. This video and none of my videos is meant as a doom or gloom, but this is real talk. This is real talk based on real data that's coming in at the moment, and we're going to break it down. And your questions may be, well, Steve, if we do have a global depression, how long does that last? And what does it mean for crypto? Does it mean crypto is in major trouble? What does it mean for your retirement fund, for your portfolio, for stocks, etc.? And what should you be doing right now? We're going to discuss all of those things in today's video. So get ready. This is a very serious video with serious repercussions, but I want you to be prepared. I want you to be prepared for what could potentially be right around the corner. We're going to take a look at a few different industries. And one of the things that, again, has happened is the coronavirus has taken the world by storm. That's the only thing on people's mind. And they're thinking about it really short term. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's next week going to be like? And when are we going to end this lockdown? That's the small picture. I need you to take a step back and see the bigger ramifications from a financial standpoint that this virus and some of these other industries are going to have on the global economy, which is screaming it'll be much more significant than just a recession. So just to put in perspective, we have recessions pretty frequently every 5-6 years. We have a recession, sometimes even every 3 years, a small recession, and they last on average about 1 year. But the global depression, the only one we've ever had, put the world at a standstill for about 10 years. And we're going to discuss that at more length. But again, the coronavirus, I hope you and your family are safe. But again, this has impacted major industries, major sectors all around the world, not just in the US, not just in the UK, not just in Australia, all around the world. And I think that this isn't being talked about enough. Obviously, the unemployment is one of the major aspects to either a recession or a global depression. And you can see the chart here. We've had a major spike in jobless claims just in the US just recently, a major spike, major telltale sign that problems lie ahead. And more importantly, this is just the start. When you have the entire world on lockdown, there's entire industries that are at a standstill, and these big companies are not pulling in the numbers, and they have to do mass layoffs, which the unemployment rate will rise, and then humans have less money to spend to fuel the economy because they don't have a job. And it's this trickle effect of then big corporations are going to have to lay off more people because the spending is not there to fuel the economy. This is a tumultuous back and forth cycle that we are going to be in, I believe, for potentially the next 1 to 3 years. Let's go to a different industry. Something that's not being discussed at all, again, because the coronavirus catches all the headlines, but this is major. We have a major oil crisis on our hands at this moment. We've had the fastest decline in oil prices ever. We look at this chart, and this is on a monthly chart. It's quite similar to the drop we had in 2008. All right, you can see this drop here, and from a percentage standpoint, it's fairly similar, right? From here, we dropped, roughly 75%, and then recently we dropped about 70%. Pretty similar, but the time is significantly different. Just take a look at from the peak to the bottom here is 245 days. So we saw that 75% decline in 245 days, which was drastic. You remember 2008. You remember how intense that was from a financial standpoint across the world. A lot of people lost their jobs. Let's take a look at how long it took us this time. 61 days. 61 days to do the same drop, and nobody's talking about it. Why? Coronavirus is catching the headlines, but this drop has put hundreds of thousands of people out of work like that. Entire towns are devastated, empty, ghost towns. People had to move out. Entire cities, ghost towns, because of this oil crisis. A lot of different countries affected with this oil crisis. It's not being discussed. This is major. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is a video I hope you've seen from Bill Gates almost 4 years ago to the day. This was on April 3rd, 2015. Bill Gates is incredibly smart, and for the longest time he was one of the richest people in the world, top 3, top 5. He has a tremendous amount of knowledge on infectious diseases. It's something that he's really passionate about. He's trying to eradicate polio. He's trying to make clean drinking water in a lot of different countries. He has a lot of knowledge on this topic, and he did this TED Talk 4 years ago, and he said, quote, "If something were to kill 10 million people in the next 3 decades, it's not war. It is a highly infectious virus." He warned everybody about this 4 years ago. What also he said is not only could it kill potentially 10 million people because we're not ready for it, which he was correct. I believe the Asian countries were a little more ready than the Western world. But what also he said in this video is that something like an infectious disease that is highly contagious via the air would deplete global wealth by $3 trillion. Not billion, trillion. This is major. He predicted this 4 years ago, because this is the financial ramification of what we're living through today. But again, with this coronavirus, everybody is thinking so short term. And what we do on this channel is take a couple steps back and look at the big picture so that we can stay ahead of the curve. And what I'm going to share with you today are some good things, some really powerful news that I have for you to be ready. I want you to be ready for how this world is going to operate in the next 1 to 3 years, because I believe it's going to be quite different than everyone thinks. It's going to get a lot worse from a financial standpoint than everybody thinks. And also with the coronavirus, realistically, it's going to take 1.5 years for us to get a vaccine. That means it's not going away next month or the month after. It's going to be here, and it's going to draw more fear. And when people have more fear, they spend less money. And when people spend less money, the big businesses are in trouble and they lay off more people. And it's just this vicious cycle. But a lot of industries have been affected. And I believe, I know it's not a popular thing to say, but I believe that we could potentially be entering our second ever global depression. And we're going to get into some more charts in a minute, but this is the time to take control of yourself. This is a time where you could potentially have a substantial financial increase for you and your family if you play your cards right. So during this time, I'm doing a giveaway of a class that you can use for crypto, you can use for the stock market, and I'm giving it away for free. This is a time for you to take a control, right? We're giving away a free class. You can use it for crypto, Forex, stock market, you name it. 3 simple steps and claim your class now. All you need to do is pause this video, look at this link, cryptocrewuniversity.com. I'll put it in the description again. cryptocrewuniversity.com. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, plug in your email address, click the box, and click send me my class now, and I can get you on your way to being well prepared for what is to come. Now, we talked about the unemployment, which is one of the big driving factors of a recession and a potential global depression. We talked about the oil crisis that nobody is discussing. How about the debt crisis that nobody is talking about? It's not making headline news because, again, of the coronavirus. But basically, what's happened on planet Earth is we've swept some problems under the rug for the past 2 decades, in my opinion. We haven't really addressed any of these problems. So debt crisis is a big one. In 2008, again, back to 2008, we had a debt crisis, right? Today, in today's world, it's twice as big as it was back then because we never solved the problem. And it's corporate debt. It's not individual debt. By the way, individual debt is quite high, but not nearly as high as corporate debt. What does that mean? Well, back in 2008, we had a problem. And instead of solving the problem, we said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make lines of credit to company really cheap because we need to spur the economy fictitiously so that the economy continues to grow. And that's exactly what we did. And so many corporate companies took their line of credit because it was cheap money. But now we're in this trickle effect where these corporate companies can't pay their debt and they're laying off massive amount of people, and it's going to be a vicious cycle there as well. That's an entire bubble within itself that nobody's really discussing. So I need you to understand from a big picture perspective, there's entire industries. Obviously, the hospitality industry has gotten 10 punches right in the face with what's happened. Restaurants are completely shut down. Hotels shut down. How are these companies going to survive? The only way is with a bailout. That's the only way some of these bigger ones will survive, in which, by the way, we will be bailing out companies and leaving the little guys behind. And what happens to those little guys? They lose a massive amount of money, and it's that vicious cycle again. So I just want to paint a picture that's maybe a little bit different than what you've heard before, but this problem that we're in right now is bigger than we've seen in our lifetime, in my lifetime and in your lifetime. We haven't seen something as big of a problem with affecting so many different industries as we see today. But the bright side is, this will be the biggest financial opportunity of your life, hands down. Make no mistake about it. This will be the biggest financial opportunity of your life. We'll get more into that in a moment. I want to show you a chart from 1996, okay? We had prices really going sky high, making higher high. By the way, this is in the SPX, the S&P 500 on the monthly. Prices making a higher high for a couple of years while the RSI was doing the opposite. This is called divergence, which you're well aware of. You've seen on our channel, and my students obviously well aware of this, and they pointed it out over the last several months because of what I'm about to show you. When you have divergence, it simply means that the indicator is doing the opposite of price action, which equals the price action is about to do the opposite. That's what it means. Obviously, we saw a big decline here because of divergence. Then fast forward to today, on a shorter scale, for 2 years, we had prices making higher highs, and we had the indicator, the RSI, making lower highs, divergence. What you see here is classic. You can often tell in the stock market when it's about to turn because of divergence. And it brought a smile to my face that so many students took their money out of the stock market at the top because they saw divergence, and that's phenomenal. They saved tens of thousands, 50,000, 100,000 from their portfolio by doing this, and they also saw it in the Dow Jones divergence. There's one chart in particular that nobody is talking about, right? With this situation, with the stock market. A lot of people know about the divergence, especially now. My students knew about it before we had this downfall, which was phenomenal. But there's something bigger that's happening. I put together a brand new class. This class will be launched next week. All of my current students will get it for free. You can unlock it for free right now so you can stay ahead of this curve. I break down exact strategies to take during this downfall, exactly when to get your position back into the stock market during this downfall. And I show you a chart that nobody is discussing. It's on a really big scale and it's monumental. And you can unlock this class for free by signing up to the Diamond or Gold right now. So you'll get this class for free that will help you for decades to come. So you get the Gold or the Diamond. The links are in the description. You can save $600 right now. You can get the Gold combo right here. Go and sign up. Take full control of what you're doing with your life right now. This will be the biggest financial opportunity that you've ever had in your life, especially if we do have a deep recession, which is highly likely, and especially if we go into a global depression. Now, we're back on the SPY, the S&P 500. What I want to show you is if you zoom back in time here, I want you to see what happened in 1929, because this was the only global depression that we've ever had. So you can see that from the peak here, we fell here. And it may not look like a lot to you because we're on a 3-month chart, but we'll just do a percentage. So you can see here we fell about 84%. Now, in terms of the stock market, that's substantial. With crypto, we're like 84%. Yeah, okay, that's not really a big deal. That's the largest drop in the stock market we've ever had. To put it in perspective, a typical recession will put you at about 20% to 50, 55. And all of the recessions in the history of mankind fit into that category, except this. This is why this was the Great Depression. But it took 1,000 days for us to see the bottom. It wasn't a snap of a finger. But what's interesting is that we had this downfall, and it put us to prices that we hadn't seen in about 33 years. You know, back here in 1898 was the last time that we saw prices drop this low as we saw down here in 1932. So 30 something years with an 84% drop. And it's really interesting. If we were to see something similar, again, we only have one data point, but the question is, well, how bad could this get? And more importantly, what does it mean for crypto? So we're going to get into those questions right now. And also, what should you be doing right now? We just put our support and resistance on our chart first, and we highlighted some areas. And the rules are like we always have on this channel. Once we break one level of support, we know our next target. If we break this, we know our next target, so on and so forth. That's how we were able to correctly predict a ton of moves just by using a big picture approach to support and resistance. That's it. Again, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button, because I'm putting this video out for you so you can be well prepared for what's to come. And also hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and join the movement. But let's take a deeper look. We reached our first level of support. When you look left, you can see this level here played a key role all the way back to 2014 through 2015 and also through 2016. We are at that level now. And what's happened is a lot of people are getting excited because we saw a major bounce off of that level, which in the big picture is not a surprise, but to people really focused on the short term, you can see we saw about a 20% rise from here. A lot of people are calling the bottom. A lot of people are saying this isn't going to be that serious. We're almost out of the woods, and the coronavirus is going to be better next month and the month after, and life will be back to normal. I hate to break it to you. It's just not going to play out like that. It's not going to play out like that. I'll show you one other chart here. You can see we bounced off of our 100-month moving average, but in the past, we've also done pretty similar actions. You can see back here in September of 2001, we saw a bounce pretty high off of this 100 week, and then we rolled over to a new low about 1 year later. 1 year, not a month or a week. People can get excited if they want. This is not the bottom. We are not close to the bottom. And again, we did the same thing back here in January 2018. We saw a bounce off of here, and then 1 year later made our lows, right? So this is what we need to be prepared for. So our first line of support, I highly doubt this is it. It's pretty likely that we're going to come down here, which is about a 50%, 50, I think 54. Let's just see what it is. But this will put us where more than likely we're going to end up, 54%, which is the previous high of our high of 2000 and the high of 2008, 2007, right? It's pretty likely that the S&P will end up here. Is it going to happen next week? No, probably not. Is it going to happen next month? Probably not. It's going to take some time. As we showed you in the chart before, it took about a year for us to bottom. But in the Great Depression, it took 1,000 days for us to see the bottom, about 3 years, right? So we have to be well prepared. If we break this level, the world will be an absolute shock, and things will start to really pick up and potential true capitulation. But if we only have one data point from the Great Depression. And we said that that was about an 84% drop, and it was about 33 years since we saw those prices. So if we go down to this level, it's an 87% drop. Why did we pick this level? Well, we played with this level for a while, all the way from 1991 through 1992, 1993, 1994, and up to 1995. We played with this level for a long time, and you can see once we break here, there are no levels of support. This is our next one. And if we fell all the way to here, this would be a worst case scenario, by the way. This would be an absolute worst case scenario. But I just want to paint a picture of if we repeated the history of our one and only data point of the Great Depression, it would put us down here, which, by the way, we hadn't seen these prices in a little over 30 years. Pretty much the same scenario as here. Once we fell all the way to here, we hadn't seen these levels in 30 years. It would be a very similar scenario, but that would be the absolute worst case scenario. But again, how do you know what to do? That's why I made a class. My students are going to have a simple yet incredibly powerful strategy to dominate these cycles that we see in the stock market. Now, how about crypto? You're like, okay, Steve, enough about the stock market. Tell me about crypto. Does this mean crypto's in big trouble? What should I be doing about crypto? By the way, leave a comment below if you like these kinds of videos. Normally, we don't discuss the stock market. Normally, we don't even discuss a lot of crypto. We just discuss Bitcoin. Every video is just focused on Bitcoin. Let me know down below if you want to see more follow-ups on this, the potential of our global depression. But let's get to crypto. I think this situation and the entire situation in the world is one of the best things to ever happen to crypto. And you may see, Steve, well, that sounds crazy. Crypto's prices are going to be in trouble because of this. And I would agree in the short term. But in the big picture, what's happening in the world is countries, entire countries and populations of people are losing trust in their fiat currency. And by the way, if something happens like a global depression, you better believe they're going to lose trust completely in their fiat currency, and they're going to start looking for something else. I remember I was in Argentina when they depreciated the value of their fiat by 50% overnight. And there was panic. A lot of people to this day don't really know about cryptocurrency, and they don't really understand it, and they think it's still some fraudulent thing. But if you fast forward 2 to 5 years from now, when this thing will have taken full circle, I believe that a lot more people are going to be entering crypto because they just don't trust their government. They don't trust their fiat currency, and I think it's a blessing in disguise. Is it going to impact crypto in the next week or two? No. This is something that I believe when everyone talks about mass adoption, that's kind of this wave that I see for mass adoption coming, is a global epidemic like this, a global pandemic that causes mass fear with our financial systems and the economy. I think that is a blessing in disguise for crypto. And again, am I saying that we are 100% entering a global depression and prices are 100%? No. This video is to get you prepared, because these sectors, the oil sector we talked about, the unemployment we talked about, even what Bill Gates talked about 4 years. It's playing out as we speak. The debt crisis that we talked about. This is a little bit bigger than a typical recession, and I need to draw your eyes to these industries and to these facts so that you're well prepared. You need to be prepared. And if you don't have a plan in place, you're going to get destroyed. And if you have a plan in place, there's going to be massive financial gains on your part if you play your cards right. And that's why I put together a brand new class that's going to launch next week. And if you sign up today, you're going to get it for free. It will help you for the next 10, 20, 30 years. You'll know how to play these cycles really, really well, better than everyone else you know. And it's going to be incredible. So I put that together for you to really benefit. So let me know what you think about this video. Leave a thumbs up right now. Show some love. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. I want to share with you one other massive benefit coming out of this crisis that we're in. By the way, you can follow on Twitter right now. Go to Crypto Crew U on Twitter. Crypto Crew U on Twitter. And by the way, if you didn't claim your free class yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is the absolute best time to learn. I'm giving away a class for free that will help you starting today. So pause this video. Go to cryptocrewuniversity.com. Scroll to the bottom. Enter your email address. Click the box and click send my class, and you'll get the class right away that will help you across all markets, right? Now, Steve's secrets to success. This is something that we do in every single video, and I want to reiterate something that is going to be major. I believe, and again, I could be wrong about this, about what we've talked about, but it's better to be prepared for what we see being covered up in mainstream media. But I believe we are going to have the biggest entrepreneurial revolution that we've ever had on planet Earth coming out of this, because so many people are going to lose their jobs. So many people are on lockdown right now. It's time for you to get creative. It's time for you to take advantage of this time. You've probably done your research and you know you need multiple revenue streams. And it's probably more apparent now than ever, because you may be very fearful you're going to lose your job, or you may have already lost your job and you're saying to yourself, if I had multiple streams of revenue, I could have done a lot better during this time. And that's why I believe there's going to be a lot of people starting to think about becoming an entrepreneur, starting their own business, whether small or big. And I want to point out a couple things. A lot of people think, you know what? If I start a business, if I become an entrepreneur, I'm going to need to raise money. No, 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 no. You don't need to raise money. I started a ton of different businesses, all with zero. I did it on purpose because I needed to prove my concept. I need a proof of concept. If you have an idea, which you probably do, that you've been sitting on for a while, go do that idea. If you don't have an idea, solve a problem. Whatever problem you have right now, and that a problem you've had for the last couple of years, solve that problem for yourself. And if you make a really good solution, people will come and you will affect people's lives. You will help change other people's lives because they have that same problem as you, but you're going to take the next step. You're going to have the ambition to solve it while they're still sitting on the couch watching 19 hours of Netflix every day. You're going to go do it and you're going to solve it, and then you're going to reach financial freedom because you've helped other people solve this problem that you had. That's how you do it. This, I believe, is going to be the biggest entrepreneurial revolution that the world has ever seen. It's time to take advantage of it. So that's Steve's secrets to success. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this video. We didn't cover a lot of Bitcoin because this is a much bigger topic and substantially more powerful than Bitcoin at this moment. So we'll get back to our normal scheduled videos next video, but let me know down below if you want to follow up to this global depression that we could be very close to. So again, I hope you're staying safe. I hope that you and your family and your loved ones are well, and just stay level-headed during these times. Stay level-headed. Don't get too scared on the way down. Don't get too excited on the way up. But I will say that with regards to crypto, you need to be greedy when everyone is fearful. This is something a lot of people forget about. There's a lot of fear in crypto right now, and you can go on the fear and greed chart, see it for yourself. You want to be greedy when everyone's fearful, plain and simple, in the short term. I think the road ahead, you can clearly see what the trend is. The trend is your friend until the end. And in the big picture, we've been in a downtrend since 2017. There's no denying that. It's right here in front of you. But in the short term, is there a lot of fear? Yes. In the big picture, we haven't broken this trend yet. When we do, things will get pretty good. And I think, as we mentioned earlier, in 2 to 5 years from now, I think crypto is really going to start to pick up some momentum with what's going to happen in the economy. So, hope you have a beautiful day. I will see you right back here next Wednesday. Peace and love to the crypto crew. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Make sure you leave a thumbs up right now. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Show some love. Go get your free class and sign up to the classes if you're interested to unlock a brand new class that's launching next week, and you'll get it for free. And again, it's going to help you for 10, 20, 30 years from now. So it'll be, and you get it for free, it'll be the best decision you've ever made, especially during this situation when you have time to really dig into the classes and sink your teeth in and study. So hope you have a beautiful day. Peace and love.